Joining me are some random bird characters because why not? Honestly, I don't know what they are, but they're fun to animate, so they'll be showing up a lot in this video. Also, I apologize if I sound a little bit weird. I'm kinda sick while recording this. Anyways, I enjoyed reading Exit West this summer because it's a lot different than other novels I had to read for school. One reason it's unique is because it doesn't follow the typical romance plot you would see in a novel. If you ever ask me my opinion on this book, this is going to be the first thing I'll talk about. I'm so tired of the, two main characters, they have to be together type stories that act like friendships can't just be friendships, and oftentimes force two characters with no chemistry in a shallow relationship to be together. When I first started reading Exit West, I got the impression that it would be one of those books, and I was feeling frustrated about having to see another generic love story. But it pleasantly surprised me at the end of the book, on page 223, when it said, "And eventually a month went by without any contact, and then a year, and then a lifetime." It's also pretty cool how Nadia and Saeed are implied to have ended up with people that you wouldn't suspect since they aren't main characters. On page 222 it says, "The ritual of their weekly walk was interrupted, as such connections are, by the strengthening of other pulls in their time, the pull of the cook on Nadia, of the preacher's daughter on Saeed, and of new acquaintances." Another reason I found the book interesting is because the story gets broken up with other mini-stories. These mini-stories are not only a good read, they're also fun to try and figure out since it's never outright stated what they're there for or what they mean. I've never seen this kind of writing style be used in any other book, which makes Exit West a lot more memorable. I'm not going to read out the full quotes of the mini-stories since that would take a long time, but one example of a mini-story is on pages 129 to 131, about a man in London who committed suicide. It starts with, "All around London, houses and parks and disused lots were being peopled in this way," and ended with that he was gone, and his London was gone, and how long he remained in Namibia it was hard for anyone who formerly knew him to say. Another example of one of these stories is on pages 223 to 226, with a story about a maid. It starts with, "Outside Marrakesh, in the hills," and ends with, "But not today." I will admit, sometimes it was annoying when the story was just getting interesting and the book would hit you with a random unrelated side plot, but after the fact, I began to grow more appreciative of this feature, and I almost want to go back and read just the side stories to figure out what they're trying to say. Speaking of trying to interpret things, that's actually the third reason why I like this book. Instead of shoving ideas into your face, Exit West lets you think for yourself and leaves some aspects of the story open to however you want to see them. This makes the book more of an experience to read, and I found myself more engaged in the story than usual. One good example of this was when Nadia and Saeed were on the island of Mykonos. On page 118 it says, "The girl wished them good luck, and she hugged Nadia tight, and Saeed was surprised to see what appeared to be tears in the girl's eyes. Or if not tears, then at least a misty shine. And Nadia hugged her too, and this hug lasted a long time, and the girl whispered something to her, and then she and Saeed stepped out the door and left Mykonos behind." As you can see, it was never outright said what the girl said to Nadia, but you can make some guesses based on later in the book where it's implied that Nadia had feelings for the girl. Another thing left up for interpretation is at the ending of page 231. "He nodded and said that if she had an evening free he would take her. It was a sight worth seeing in this life. And she shut her eyes and said that she would like that very much. And they rose and embraced and parted and did not know then if that evening would ever come." I enjoyed having an open-ended ending because I find it fun to try and piece together what actually happens to Saeed and Nadia in the future based on earlier parts of the story. One of my favorite things to do when I'm done reading a book, watching a movie, watching a show, is to try and tap into the characters and figure out things about their personality and, just stuff like that. So I really appreciate that this book actually gave me the freedom to do that, unlike a lot of other stuff I've read. Overall, Exit West was a very good book. It had a unique take on the main characters' relationships, interesting mini-stories, although I'm not sure if I should really be calling them mini-stories, but I don't really have any other names, so we're just going to stick with that. And multiple open-ended parts that were done very well. I wouldn't say it's for everyone, since not everyone enjoys subtle stories, and many people like more energetic writing styles. Like we were talking about in class, how this is a transition from teen novels to adult, and adult novels are definitely more on the subtle side, and teen novels are kind of more just obvious. But I personally thought it was a memorable book that was worth reading again. I'd like to go back and see although, like I said before, the mini-stories, I want to see what they all mean. What are they trying to say? Because I kind of ignored them before. I just thought they were annoying. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my little animated bird friends.